I dobrodošli u još jedno izdanje naše emisije u kojoj vas danas vodim u fascinantni svet Brazila. I to direktno iz rezidencije njegove ekscelencije ambasadora Brazila u Srbiji, Žozea Maura de Fonseke Koste Kouta. Brazil je zemlja koja zrači energijom karnevala, fudbala, sambe i neukrotive Amazonije, ali je istovremeno i zemlja bogate istorije i principa. Brazil se dosledno zalaže za politiku nemešanja u unutrašnje poslove drugih zemalja, poštovanje suvereniteta i vladavine prava. Taj princip poštovanja slobode izbora svake države blisko povezuje Brazil sa jedne strane i Srbiju sa druge, posebno kada se osvrnemo na istorijske odnose između naših zemalja. Jugoslavija i Brazil su kroz Pokret nesvrstanih gradili čvrsto prijateljstvo, a Jugoslavija je Brazilu izvozila brodove, traktore i industrijsku opremu. Iako se svet promenio, naši narodi i dalje dele vrednosti i zajedničku prošlost. I kao što u Brazilu kažu, tudo que é ruim passa, o que é bom fica. Nadam se da sam dobro rekla. Sve što je teško prolazi, a ono što je dobro ostaje. Danas ćemo sa njegovom ekscelencijom razgovarati o tome kako Brazil primenjuje svoju politiku nemešanja u savremenom svetu, o mogućnostima buduće saradnje sa Srbijom, kao i o kulturi koja nas povezuje. A na kraju pridružit će nam se i njegova supruga, s kojom ćemo raditi jogu, tehniku uz koju se i ambasador opušta u svom svakodnevnom životu. Joga je postala važan simbol mira i balansa ne samo u Brazilu, već i širom sveta. Ostanite sa nama, jer vas čeka zanimljivo putovanje kroz kulturu, diplomatiju i jedinstveni duh Brazila. I na samom početku otkriću vam još jednu tajnu. Ambasador i njegova supruga nisu sami. Oni imaju prijatelje za cijeli život. A to su psi koje su oni usvojili i doveli čak iz Sudana. To je jedna prava kosmopolitan porodica.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Brazil, because this is Brazil soil.
Thank you. Welcome
Drago
to
mi
Serbia.
je, Daniela.
As well. Ivana.
Let's go,
Okay. Let's go.
please.
Thank you. Vaša ekscelencijo, hvala vam što ste nas danas ugostili u rezidenciji, u vašoj kući. Zaista moram da priznam da se osjeća duh Brazila i veoma sam počastvovana. Pa da krenemo na ovo naše putovanje. Da krenemo od toga što je Brazil zemlja koja se ne meša. Brazil je prvi stupio i rekao mi se nikada nećemo mešati u unutrašnje poslove jedne zemlje. Moje pitanje je gdje bi bio svet kad bi se tako svaka zemlja ponašala?
It would certainly be a better world. But I can tell you, as a founding member of the United Nations, Brazil defended from the very onset of its foreign policy three basic principles. As you mentioned, non-interventions in the affairs of domestic affairs of other countries, the importance of the United Nations Charter and the rule of law, which is absolutely relevant for any international system to function. And third, and perhaps equally important, respect and validation for the people and their differentiated behavior, although they may have different religions, different customs, respect these people as they are.
Rekli ste mi da je samo 2% stanovništva izlazi iz Brazila u potrazi za nekim boljem sutra. Recite nam, odajte nam tajnu za taj uspeh.
Well, a lot of this has to do with Brazil's circumstance. There's a famous Spanish philosopher called Ortega y Gasset, and he defends the idea that the circumstance of a country determines its history. And that is very important. Brazil is far away from Europe, far away from North America, far away from the East. We have, for a very long time, we didn't have any connections, easy transport connections, communications with our neighboring countries in South America. It was only in the beginning of the year 2000s that we began building roads, railroads, having more frequent flights, linking the capitals of all these countries in South America, that we began rediscovering, let's say, our neighbors. And the fact that we have a large group of Brazilians living in Paraguay and in Argentina, it's simply, the reason for that is basically that there is a dry border. A lot of the cities that exist between Argentina, Paraguay, and even Uruguay are cities which are on the border. So the customs, when you move from one country to the other, are outside of the cities. And you move from Brazil in the direction of Uruguay by passing through customs into a city. Then you can move freely in the city. And when you decide to go to Uruguay, then you pass through customs and immigration on your way to another city in Uruguay, Argentina, or Paraguay. So the proximity and the fact that we have a dry border and the facility of moving back and forth between these countries and Brazil allowed us to have large percentage of our population living in those countries, also because the population of these countries is much smaller than ours. You know? Paraguay has, if I'm not mistaken, 3-4 million inhabitants. Uruguay has 3 million inhabitants. Argentina is much larger. Argentina has 35. But we have large communities living in those three countries. The largest community we have outside of Brazil is in the United States, because in the United States, we began after the Second World War, the States built large military bases in northeastern Brazil. And the Americans, both men and women, who lived in these bases, they interacted with the Brazilian community, and then they eventually intermarried, and they moved to Brazil. They moved to the United States. So this was the first colony that we had in the United States. Later, there was a very interesting coincidence. The Portuguese, as you may perhaps know, they are very good fishermen. And the fact that they are very good fishermen allowed them to discover a good part of the Atlantic. And as you know, they traveled, they were discoverers of many lands, they traveled around Africa and so on. But anyway, the Portuguese left in Brazil a very, very important mark. And when they moved to Massachusetts, when they were invited by the Massachusetts community in northeastern United States to help them fish for cod, which was a popular fish in Boston at the time, at a certain point, there were no more Portuguese willing to go to Massachusetts. So they invited the Brazilians because they could communicate with them very easily. So the second largest community we had was in Massachusetts. Today, the largest community is in Florida. We have 500,000 Brazilians living in Florida, but it's still a small number in comparison to Brazil. Brazil is a country that is, I would say, has an abundance of resources. Right now, it has an abundance of employment. I wouldn't say that we have a full employment like many developed countries. We have 8% unemployment in the country. So people who travel overseas looking for better opportunities, much as you have Serbians looking for better opportunities, or even Americans living in a certain part in the US and willing to go somewhere else for a better job.
Postavit ću vam dva pitanja, ali iz mog ličnog iskustva. Nekoliko puta sam bila u Brazilu, u Riju, bila sam u Sao Paulu i videla sam Iguazu vodopade. Za one koji ne znaju, Iguazu vodopadi se nalaze na granici i zaista tu niko nikada nije rekao ti vodopadi pripadaju nama ili to su samo naši vodopadi. I htjela bih da taj vodopad uporedimo sa Balkanom. Na koji način?
Well, it's a complicated issue because if there's anything that Brazilians are fanatic about, it's football. I don't think that there is any special feeling of possession of the Iguazu Falls or any other waterfalls that we have in Brazil. Frankly speaking, we have so many waterfalls, hundreds of thousands of waterfalls, that one more waterfall is not going to make any difference. They are there between us and between Brazil and Argentina. We get along very well with the Argentinians. They bring a lot of tourism to Brazil. In summer, a lot of Argentinians travel to our beaches. And in winter, a lot of Brazilians travel to go skiing in Argentina. So it's a balanced relationship. And here in Serbia, I think you are also very, very big fanatics about football.
We are trying.
And you are fanatics about some social issues, which are also in Brazil. We are very much preoccupied about the quality of your water, the quality of your education, the safety of your people. These are issues that in Brazil we discuss with the government, and we protest eventually when this is not being provided to us. But I don't think that we are any Serbians and Brazilians. On the contrary, are very similar in frame of mind. Very peaceful, very willing, very much willing to help. I walk my dogs every day around the street, and they greet my dogs. One of them has 3 paws, so he has difficulty in walking, and they, let's say, make positive comments about the fact that I take them out every day for a walk, etc., etc. So I don't think that this issue is an issue that moves Serbians that much. I think it's much more football.
To je ujedno bilo i moje drugo pitanje, ali iz lične perspektive. Da li se osjećate sigurno na ulicama Brazila, recimo noću? Kada uporedimo Srbiju i Brazil, nekako mnogo sigurnije, ne zato što je ovo moj dom, se osjećam ovde ili kada sam sama, nego u Brazilu.
No, I feel safer here. But you see, Brazil has a lot of social contrasts. We have, as I mentioned, over 200 million people. And we have a middle class, which is composed of approximately, I would say, 70 million people. We have an upper class. I read in the newspapers here some time ago that you have 35,000 millionaires. We have a couple of million of millionaires in Brazil. So these few million Brazilians have a very high percentage of the GDP of the country. The remaining, let's say, 50 million, the poor 50 million people of Brazil have to find a way to make a living. And the temptation to make small, let's say, robberies in the street, a cell phone, a pair of good shoes, principally by children, by 15, 18-year-olds, is big. You won't find people who are older making bank robberies, except for perhaps once a year. It is very difficult to rob a bank, as you may imagine. But in small robberies in the middle of the streets, we would say like pickpocket type of robberies, you will find them in Brazil, but you will find them also elsewhere, here in Europe and some other countries also.
Hopefully not in Belgrade.
No, I haven't had any experience with that.
Brazil je jedna od zemalja koja ne priznaje nezavisnost Kosova i koja poštuje teritorijalni integritet Srbije. Šta je uticalo na takvu odluku Brazila i koliko je takva odluka bitna za dalji razvoj i saradnju između naše dve zemlje?
I'll divide this question in two issues. The issue of the 1244 decision by the Security Council in 1999, and then the relations that we have with Serbia today. Well, in relation to 1244 from 1999, a decision that was taken by the Security Council, of course, we supported that decision. That decision basically says that Kosovo, which is an integral part of Serbia, should remain so until it is decided by the United Nations or eventually by the people themselves of Serbia. It's an internal affair of Serbia. So it was very easy for us to decide on the side of Serbia because it is the law. It is international law. There is no, we will not ever support any illegal intervention by a country, a military intervention by a country into another. We will never support the formation of an illegal government inside a country. And thank God we are not the only ones. Here in Europe, I think you have 5 countries which do not support Kosovo as an independent unit. And in the rest of the world, I think it's over 100 countries, if I'm not mistaken. So for us, much like we did not support any military intervention in Iraq in 1990 and in Afghanistan, we did not support any kind of intervention in Serbia also when that happened many years ago. So this is a very firm position, non-intervention, as I mentioned, one of the 3 that I said previously. Now, present relations with Serbia. We have had in the past with Yugoslavia very intense relations. We had exports of Brazilian high added valued goods to Serbia, and Serbia also sold a lot of its products to Brazil. When the Yugoslavia splintered into 6, 7 countries, then it became more difficult for us to do trade here, basically because the markets became smaller and Brazilian companies preferred to sell their products in markets which were larger. It made more business sense. My presence here is to try to change that. Just for you to have an idea, I've been here for 2 years and a half. And since July, I am bringing next week my fourth delegation to Serbia to try to change this. And the idea is for Serbia to try to understand a little bit what Brazil is doing right now, which is different from the rest of the world. And also trying to promote various joint ventures with Serbia in various sectors. I'll mention just a couple, if I may. Brazil is very strong in agro industry. Brazil is now the largest producer of soybeans, corn, cellulose, largest exporter of beef, chicken, third largest exporter of pork, orange juice. The list is endless. Basically because we have, as you said, warmer weather. And the center of Brazil used to be an area which was not agricultural. And we changed that by changing the composition of the soil. And today we have, for example, I'll give you an example, a hectare of land in that part of Brazil produces 4.5 million tons of soybeans. You produce 3.5, okay? We, in the same hectare of land, we produce corn as a second harvest. And depending on the latitude of the country, we have a third harvest of wheat, for example. Okay, so this is one area where we would like to cooperate with Serbia to try to improve your productivity per hectare by new agricultural techniques, machinery, irrigation, etc. This is one area. Another area, and you've been in Brazil. Did you drive an automobile by any chance?
No,
No?
I just flew like a parasailing, I think that is,
Okay.
or Copacabana.
Okay, so in Brazil, all automobiles which were built since 2008 have the capacity to fill the tank with 100% alcohol. In Brazil, we are the biggest consumers of alcohol per capita, not for drinking. Basically, all 45,000 gas stations in Brazil have an alcohol pump. All gasoline in Brazil has a 30% mixture of alcohol. All diesel in Brazil, sold in the gas stations, has a 15% mixture of biodiesel. Serbia produces twice the amount of grains that it consumes. So we believe that you could, if you wish to do that, if it was a decision of your country, produce biodiesel. And therefore, mixing biodiesel into the synthetic diesel that you have in your gas stations. You can do this as a drop-in. You do not have to make any modifications in the engines, up to 50%. Okay, so you would save in price because the price is lower. You would save in greenhouse gas emissions, and you would be self-sufficient, or not totally, but more self-sufficient than you were before you started this program. So this is something that we would like to introduce and present to you as an alternative for Serbia. So these are two areas where we would like to develop our cooperation with Serbia.
So let's say how many years will be needed for that process?
2 years. We can build a plant in less than a year. Soybeans, as you know, is planted every year. All you have to do is harvest. When you harvest a grain of soybeans, 20% of that harvest is oil, which is used in cooking oil, and many people use that for cooking oil or for adding value to the feed rations for animals. And the other one is a kind of flour that is used in the rations for animals also. So there's a lot of excess product
But
that you could be using.
Yes, Your Excellency, you forgot to mention, I mean, I don't know if you even know what is the favorite drinks of all of us Serbians here.
I do.
Which one it is?
Rakia.
No, I was thinking coffee. From
I mean
Brazil.
coffee. Okay. It's interesting. At the end of the 18th century, of the 19th century, the Emperor of Brazil participated in a World Trade Fair in St. Petersburg in Russia to promote Brazilian coffee. At the time, it was basically the only product that we were able to export, I think, together with sugar. Okay? When I entered the diplomatic service 45 years ago, we exported iron ore, sugar, and coffee only. We exported $19 billion of these three products. Today, we export $320 billion.
Perfect.
Of everything.
That's really, really good numbers, nice numbers. So I guess we are receiving coffee from Brazil and we are sending rakia from here.
To a certain extent, but you're also buying jet airplanes from Brazil. Yes.
Are we planning to do that, or we are already
You have
doing
already ordered the planes. 14 Air Serbia.
Kada se vratimo u Titovo vreme, Jugoslavija i Brazil su imali izuzetne odnose, posebno mislim na pokret nesvrstanih. Šta možemo mi da naučimo iz tog vremena? Da li smo poneli neke lekcije sa nama ili se samo prisjećamo koliko nam je bilo lepo?
No, we learned from you. Tito landed in Brasilia in 1963. Brasilia was finishing to be built. Brasilia was inaugurated in 1960, the capital city of Brasilia, which was built from nothing. And Tito was the first person to live in the presidential palace. We have a presidential residence in Brasilia, and it had just been inaugurated, and somebody in protocol in Brazil had the idea of inviting Tito to stay there. So he was the first person to live in that house. So Tito was very moved by the generosity of the Brazilian people and so on. So he invited Brazil to join the non-aligned movement. And the non-aligned movement is basically non-aligned. It does not align with itself with the West or with the, at the time, communist East. Brazil at that time already had that policy. We didn't call it non-aligned movement, but we call it our foreign policy. And we asked Tito to invite us to become members of the non-aligned movement as observers. So we are members of the non-aligned movement only as observers. So we are more non-aligned than the non-aligned movement.
It's kind of similar like today. Rekli smo da smo mi, iako je Brazil toliko daleko od Srbije, imamo dosta sličnosti. To je strast prema hrani, volimo da uživamo u životu, volimo i dobro piće, ali volimo i sport i povezuje nas taj fudbal. Da li fudbal može nekada da odigra svoju utakmicu i u diplomatiji, pa da eto na neki način udruži dve zemlje?
You know, diplomats are bridge builders. We're not engineers, but we are bridge builders in the fictional sense. I discovered when I arrived here that in the late 70s, Brazil used to come very often to Yugoslavia, basically to train with the Yugoslavian national team. Sometimes it stayed in Sarajevo, sometimes in Ljubljana, sometimes in Belgrade. And I went to speak to the Federation of Volleyball in Brazil and here. Why did Brazil come here so often? And we discovered that at that time, Brazil began participating in the World Volleyball Championships. So besides the Olympic Games, there was a World Volleyball Championship, just like you have in many other sports. And you had a calendar of events which had one leg of the championship was held in Spain, then in France, then in England, then in Germany, Italy, and so on. So at the end of the year, the team that had biggest amount of victories was declared world champion. So in the beginning, we had a lot of difficulty. As you know, you were in Brazil. We play a lot of volleyball on the beaches, principally, but also in court, in school, etc. And we couldn't win. It was very difficult for us to. We had very tall players. We had the physique and everything. But we couldn't win because we didn't have the technique. We didn't have the managers who would observe the other teams and experience, basically. So by playing in between, we started coming to stay in Yugoslavia at the time because it was cheaper to stay here than to stay in Spain or in France or in Italy. And by staying here and playing frequently with Yugoslavia, we learned how to play better. And when we started beating you in some of the games, we knew that we were prepared to win. And in 1982, we won the silver medal in the Olympic Games. So Serbia was very much responsible for that. We are similar to Serbians in football. We are fanatics. We have a very large Brazilian national championships. We have 50 teams participating in the championship. This generates a number of good players, which allows us to have high-level football all the time. We have a certain way of interacting with our neighbors, with our friends, staying out in the street. We are very musical. And this is something that I found here in Serbia, very similar to Brazil. I'm attending now the Jazz Festival, which is happening now just very close by here down the street, close to the Republic Square. And all of these qualities and characteristics of Serbians you find in Brazil. Besides that, you have the informality. Something is a little bit different in Brazil. We like to touch. We are very tactile.
We like to
in the
kiss.
sense that we kiss and we salute people, even though we have never met them before.
you kiss people that you never met before.
Correct.
In the embassy of Belgium, the ambassador Katie, she told me that they kiss someone that they don't know really good 3 times. In Serbia, we kiss 3 times if we know someone really good or if we want to give them a chance to know us as a Serbian, 3 times it's a must.
No, but we do that often in Brazil. You will see. If you haven't noticed, you didn't notice, we do that all the time.
Okay, we Serbians, we do not have problem with that. Yes. Htjela bih mnogo da vam se zahvalim na ovim inspirativnim, više nego inspirativnim pričama koje ste podelili sa nama i što tako nesebično govorite. Znate, niste rekli mi Brazilci, mi smo najbolji u svemu, nego ste rekli hvala vam. Ipak ste nas nečemu naučili, ali da budemo broj 1. I mnogo sam srećna zbog ovog intervjua i voljela bih da otvorimo gledaocima našim ko to nas još čeka u toku emisije i samo da znate, baš ista ta ambasadorka Belgije, Katie, mi je otkrila da kada vi imate izuzetno naporan dan, da se vi opuštate uz jogu i samo slušate šta vama vaša supruga govori. So yeah, that's all for now. I said everything, so I would like to, go furthermore.
Thank you very much. A pleasure meeting you also, and I salute the Serbian people and hope they continue to strive for a better future. This is what we do in Brazil, and I wish them very much, very luck in striving for this better situation in their country as a whole.
Obrigada. I think that now it's the perfect time to meet someone who is the best part of this TV show, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Drago mi je.
Drago mi je. I'm so
Daniela.
grateful to have you, Daniela, today here. So please, if you do have a couple of minutes, I know that the ambassador is always working, but sometimes we need to slow down like in yoga, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I'm really happy and grateful to have you, Daniela. And I never had a first lady next to me in one TV show, thanks to Maura, that is today. So as I said to Mauro, I've been visiting Katie from Belgium, the ambassador of Belgium, and she told me that you are a big support for your husband. And sometimes when he's having a tough day and diplomacy and politics can be, I guess, very stressful for the head, yoga could help him. Is that true?
Yes, for all of us, we need to slow down every day. We live in a society that it's all about doing, and we never have even time to breathe properly. So just a simple breath can make big difference on your day. I try to do that, but husbands, no matter they are ambassadors, they are husbands, and they are very... So sometimes he follows some suggestions, sometimes not.
So is he more listening and making moves in politics and diplomacy? Is it actually, my question is it easier, Mauro, to be in politics and diplomacy or to be in marriage?
No, marriage is natural. No, marriage is something that comes out natural. No, it's nothing to do with and politics is unpredictable. It's marriage is much more comfortable, much more convenient and easy.
They gave the right question to sleep in the same room tonight.
Okay. Your Excellency, I know that you're quite busy, so I wouldn't keep you anymore here with us, but 2 of us, we will stay. And then as a 2 women, we will talk about a marriage, about politics, about men. So
Beautiful.
It's gonna
Thank
be
you very much.
Very, very interesting
pleasure.
conversation. A pleasure
Bye-bye.
is mine. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Obrigada.
Obrigado, hvala puno.
So Is he always, when a man is in politics and diplomacy, is he always busy? Like, is he working like 8 hours, or you never know when he's gonna work?
No, Mauro loves really what he does. It's not about a job or work. This is his passion. His father was also an ambassador. He was raised in this environment, moving from one place to another. And he loves what he does. Really, for him, I don't see him even, doing it as something heavy, or he's the ambassador. So, of course, as a partner, as a wife, you always try to support. But I'm also always trying to make him realize, okay, there is a human being inside this ambassador, duty, and you have to find time for yourself. So more and more, now he's getting older, and he's realizing that and finding time for himself. He loves cycling. He goes from here to Avala Mountain and comes back. This is his favorite bicycle ride. And we have a lot of animals. We have 4 dogs, 4 cats. So always also finding time to walk with the pets
Can
around.
we see them? Are they here in the
Yes,
house?
yes. And he always do something very interesting. Now he's going to embassy walking 2 of the dogs. So I think this is also his kind of meditation, going to work early morning with the dogs. And, so he learned that with time to find this space for himself, even during work. But he really loves what he does. So he's never tired to go to whatever he needs to go and attend.
Is there anything that you can teach me, let's say, from yoga? I'm not asking now to practice the yoga, but is it something during the day that I can do, or that Mauro does, that it's calming down his head or my head? Like, is it breathing?
It never
or is
calms
it...
down. His
Never.
mind he's an intellectual, and his mind is always. But there is something very simple I cannot just, not just for you, but it's for everybody. We unfortunately forgot how to breathe. Because of our education and our society, so we are always thinking too much. We are always in the mind, and we are non-stop. Especially now, social media, it's so difficult, social media. I wouldn't like to raise a kid in these days with this social media going on like this, so strong and so pushy. It's about the breath. We all forgot how to breathe. We don't use diaphragm anymore to breathe. We breathe with the upper part of the lungs, very superficial. First thing I ask in every student, first time, do you know how to breathe? And the student said, yes, I know how to breathe. I said, oh, so please breathe. Everybody makes like this.
That's a wrong way.
That's the wrong way.
Okay.
Yes, we don't breathe here. Most of the lungs are down, and diaphragm should go down when we inhale, and should comes up when we exhale. And so just tuning your breath, inhaling, diaphragm going down, exhaling. And exhalation should be longer.
Like, how long should be it? Like, if I do it like this, should be like 15 seconds?
No,
or
everyone will have a different range of breath. So breath should be comfortable, but we breathe all the way around in our lives. Everybody, when I say, please inhale, everybody makes like, exhale. So it's the other way around. And this makes our mind very agitated because it activates sympathetic nervous system, which is the part of our neurological, let's say, physiology to fight or flight. Or you fight or you flight. This is our survival part.
What is that is the same between Brazilian and
Yeah,
Serbian
we are
people?
very, very similar. We are very similar. I feel home. I would say this is one of the countries I have been that I feel really at home. First week I was already, oh, I like here so much. I feel so good here. Because of this similarity, the country is amazing, people are amazing, nature here is so beautiful, plants and vibration. No matter what happened here in terms of wars, Brazil had never experienced any war. This is very unique about us. But even with this past and these memories, painful memories, the strength of people here, it's the beauty in the hearts and the traditions and handcrafts and women, and it's something that really touched me since day one. I really appreciate this country. I'm very grateful to be here and to get to know the country, and every time I search for more and building this network of connection, of soft diplomacy, because this is what I believe. What do we have in common? Not my difference, your difference, my country, your country. This is really my you know, how I act as wife of ambassador. And because this is my core value as a human being, we are all same. We look different, language and clothes and face, but we are all the same. We are human beings. We all have same needs. We have so much in common. And if we could realize how much everyone has in common, we would have more compassion and maybe we would have more peace. So why do I like yoga, and why yoga really made me go so deep into yoga the way I am? I was a runner. I used to run full marathons. I used to run 42 kilometers. And for me, it was always this value of human being was my core, but I need to spend all the energy I had, all my fire, doing this kind of activity, running. And then I start yoga to balance running. And then I figure out, oh, I love that. What I'm trying now is to build something parallel to the work my husband does, and create similarities between Serbia and Brazil with kids. I believe in kids. Our generation is lost. Probably two generations behind us also lost in terms of what is success, what it's to achieve success. But kids know they are sponges. We can still save them from this non-stop, mine. I have to have, and understand that what we really need is peace inside. And so now I have some projects for next year about that with Serbians and Brazilian kids.
Perfect. We will take part.
Let's see.
Okay, let's see.
These dogs I rescue in Sudan from street.
Woof.
Yeah, she's the leader.
Are you from Sudan?
Yes,
Are you Alpha?
they are from Sudan.
Are you Alpha? How would I?
She loves to do that. Very Shakti. Most of the animals I rescue in Sudan.
Oh,
Yes.
so you brought them from Sudan here in Serbia?
From
So
Sudan to Germany, from Germany here. They are gypsies like us.
they like to travel.
Diplomats are gypsies. We are fancy
Okay.
gypsies.
Sit here
I
next to
always
me.
say that.
So,
We are fancy gypsies.
so you are saying that diplomats are gypsies, always
Yes.
traveling, finding their house everywhere in the world.
Yes, that's it. People don't realize it's quite tough. You have to have a special mindset
Yes.
because you are always leaving things behind and moving to the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
because you never know how it's going to be your life. Actually, you never know where you're going to live. You don't know. You know you arrive in a place, you know in a certain numbers of years, also you don't know for how long you will be living that place. So you arrive already knowing that you are going away.
Yes. We don't know the date when we are going away, but it's
and
there.
you don't
It's
know
written.
to where.
Yes.
You don't know for how long, you don't know to where. And so you know you are going to make friends and you are going to learn how to love that place, but you know you have to be ready to leave everything behind.
So you said you have 2 dogs and 2 cats?
4.
4 dogs.
And 4 cats.
And the dog that was here in the room, it's from Sudan.
Yes, the dogs are all from Sudan. The cats, one came from Brazil. She's traveling with me for a while. And the other cat I rescued in Sudan. But then I rescued another cat now in Italy. And then when she arrived, 2 months later, she gave me another cat.
So it's an Italian-Serbian cat,
Yes.
I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. I was a horse vet originally. I used to take care of horses for 10 years. And then I changed.
Okay, I guess you don't have a horse here, no?
No.
Okay.
No.
So just
Would
cats
be
and
difficult.
just cats and dogs. So here in the room there are a lot of details, like this rabbit that is Japanese rabbit smoking something, and you do have a lot of pieces here that they are like older than 100 years.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's in this room we do have from all parts of the world. It's not just from the Brazil.
Not all, but from some parts of the world.
Is there something that it's really unique? I know that every detail is really unique, but is there something that you would like to highlight?
This for Maura, it's important because it belonged to his grandmother. It's typical from a certain part of Brazil at that time. We have that chest, it's from Iran. It's a very beautiful work from Iran. This is from a very famous designer who died from Brazil, Sérgio Rodrigues. Paintings also I like very much from Sudan. These 2 paintings from an artist I like very much, Oteibi. And I mean, now people are not aware of what's going on. Sudan, it's destroyed. It's a country that I would say doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, in a country so rich in terms of people and knowledge. Sudan has, I hope, under the sand, more pyramids than Egypt. Sudan has more than 200 pyramids, and nobody knows about that.
World doesn't know.
Yeah. And I could say carpets, they have much more than 100 years. This carpet, it's from here. I like very much, but all the carpets are very, very old. Oh, everything we have has a story. So the collection of masks, also there's more Oteibi, more Sérgio Rodrigues. We have pieces from different, for us, this is also about, of course, making residents of Brazil meaningful, because we want to, share the atmosphere of our lifestyle, but also for us about memories, because every little piece has a memory, or the person who was behind the paintings, the painter, or the sculpture, also from Sudan, from Brazil, for different times of our lives, when Maura was starting his career, the masks. So it's about a little bit of the story of our lives. That's why we travel carrying so much things.
It's like a love story. And everything that you had from your story, it's here in this room. So I was thinking about the dog from Sudan. What's the name was?
Shakti.
Shakti. So Shakti is such a lucky dog and soul.
Yes.
So as you mentioned, Sudan barely even exists like nowadays because of everything. and he saved, and he has attitude, and he scared me.
Yes.
That's good because he's alpha, I guess, in this house. I mean, he's acting like one. So yeah, definitely I will come back.
Be a pleasure. Maybe you come back one day for yoga.
Yes, and the thing that you said that you would like to connect kids from Serbia and Brazil, and that you're thinking that we can learn a lot from them. Let's say kids from Serbia here, they know a lot of songs from Brazil, so music is connecting the world.
Yes,
you know,
music is one of the ideas.
not the
Music
money,
and
not
art.
the investigation, not the the things that we are talking about in politics and those kind of world. So I'm ready to leave. I have to go now,
Okay,
but I would stay all day.
my pleasure.
Okay, so I'm ready, and
And
hopefully
I would like you to give you. Has a. But I will send to you. This is a poet. She works with Maura at the embassy. She's Brazilian, but she wrote a book in Serbian.
nice.
Yes, and she published this. Now the book fair was going on. I think now it's finished. I don't know if it's still on. We visit, and I think this is the kind of diplomacy I like very much. She's a poet. She writes in Portuguese, but she published a book by herself in Serbian to connect. She also loves. So I will. This is mine, but I will.
Perfect.
One
Okay,
reach your
let's
hand.
go together. Since I'm a little bit afraid who is outside of the door.
Thank you very much for coming.
How do we kiss
Pleasure.
now?
Two kisses.
No, each
Two
other.
kisses.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Now 2 kisses, next time 3, because it's a Serbian way.
Okay.
So we will mix it.
We'll
Okay.
make 3.
Thank you.
Bye.
Danas smo kroz razgovor sa njegovom ekscelencijom Žozeom Maurom da Fonsekom Kostom Koutom saznali mnogo o Brazilu. O zemlji koja dosledno primenjuje politiku nemešanja u unutrašnje poslove drugih zemalja, poštuje pravo na samoopredeljenje i neguje principe vladavine prava. Brazil i Srbija kroz svoju istoriju imaju mnogo toga zajedničkog, posebno kroz saradnju koja je počela još u doba Jugoslavije. Pored politike i ekonomije, ljubav prema fudbalu, kulturi i tradiciji povezuje naša 2 naroda. Kroz današnji segment joge sa ambasadorovom suprugom imali smo i priliku da osetimo i kako se balans između ličnog mira, onog unutrašnjeg, i profesionalnih izazova nalazi i u svakodnevnom diplomatskom životu. Joga kao simbol unutrašnjeg mira postala je važan deo brazilske svakodnevice, a danas smo kroz nju videli i koliko je taj balans značajan. I kao što u Brazilu kažu, quem planta amor, colhe felicidade. Ko posadi ljubav, bere sreću. Nadamo se da smo danas zajedno sa vama posadili ljubav prema Brazilu, zemlji koja donosi toliko pozitivne energije i inspiracije. A hvala vama što ste bili sa nama. I pratite nas i u sledećim epizodama gde ćemo vam doneti još interesantnih priča iz sveta diplomatije, ali i iz kulture.